Taking the number 8 brush again, dip it in the water, tamp it, same as before, test it, yes, good, wet but not dripping, just the way we like it. Now we're going to learn about using the gloss medium. So you could see that when it gets, that's dry, it's very dry when it's like that. So what we would usually do if we were painting, if the paint got to be like that, we'd be picking up our medium. It helps to lubricate the paint and get it to spread. So if you think about all kinds of paints, they all start out life as a powder, a pigment of some kind, collected out of nature or sometimes man-made. And then they're held together by a binding medium. So for watercolors, it's vegetable gum. For acrylic paint, it's acrylic resin. For oil paints, it's a vegetable oil. So it's just different mediums, different ways of working. Tempera uses eggs, of all things. Never tried tempura, kind of interested. So what happens is the paint arrives in a fairly thick state, as you can see on your palettes, but it's not necessarily the format that you want to use on your canvas. So water helps break it down, but too much water, for example, so this is really good quality paint, so it's really hard to muck it up, but this is what happens when I add just water, right? And I'm relying on water. I don't get a really good black. I can accidentally thin it too much. Also, I now no longer have control of the paint because, you know, that's going to drip everywhere. And it's also going to take a long time to dry. So it's not ideal. So what I prefer to do is I like to pick up the paint and some medium. Now you can do it whichever way around you like. And, you know, we've seen it dry. This is too wet. And this is just right, okay? See how I can get a crisp edge with that? So Goldilocks on the 3 bears. This one's too dry, this one's too wet, and this one's just right. Make sense? I've got the medium. So now I'm going to just juice up again. I've got plenty of moisture in the brush. I don't have to get any more water, that's fine. And I'm going to do a couple of little landscapes as though I'm at the beach, but it's all in black and white. I'm having a Max Dupan moment. You know that for Australian photographer? Okay, so I'm putting down my blacks there. Now, because I've got lots of lubrication there, I can get a nice crisp edge. But if the brush was all dry, it would be like this and it would be hard to get that. Now, I'm going to wipe off all that beautiful excess paint there. I'm not going to worry about making my brush perfectly white, clean right now. I'm going to go back into the white, pick that up. I just need to make a sky. Okay, this is a long, skinny, groovy, contemporary landscape. So I'm just doing my lines, and as I come down here, I'm going to turn the brush over, so I've got more paint there, and I'm going to bring the paint up and get a nice crisp edge. Okay? Now when you have a crisp edge, it brings things into the foreground. So if you're doing a rose and you've got a background and you suddenly do every leaf in the background really crisp and clean, it's going to compete with what's in the foreground. So I do want you to know about the softened line, okay? A blurred line, softened edge, I'm going to show you next. So that's the first one. So in order to do that, you have to have the medium, otherwise this very dry surface, it'll be the same on your canvas, it will be dry. You won't be able to get that lubrication to get the nice edge, okay? So that's the first one. Okay, now I'm going to go, I'll do them for you a second time if you want. I'll run you through the first time so you can take it in, and I'll do it quickly for you a second time so you can get ready to do it yourself. Okay, so I'm doing the black. Oh, I've really got a lot of black there. The dark. And this time I'll just go up a bit, get rid of the excess, pick up the white, and this time I'm going to do blurred lines, so I'm not interested in getting all that crisp edge. I'm going to come down and into it while it's wet. See how it's merging? And now I've started off with like a mid pressure. Now I'm getting lighter as I go down. So I really want to be able to have, I'm going to turn the brush over now, a white or a light coming down into a darker tone there, okay? So that could be the same beach on another day. It could even be the same day, knowing Melbourne. Just saying. I am missing those daily blue skies of South Australia. But that's okay. I'm certainly enjoying the beach here. A lot of coastal weather. So it could be misty. It could be atmospheric, whatever. So it could be raining, but we often don't see what's in the background. Have a look now down at your feet. Look at the grain on the floor. Okay, can you see the grain in the wood floorboards? Now look across the far corner of the room where the chairs are. You can't see the grain, can you? No. So often we don't need all that background detail. Here's an example of one of the paintings we're going to be seeing. We see how it's all soft. It's not just because the camera lens has done that, it's picked this out. It's because it's a long way away, we just don't take in all that detail. We just know the suggested forms tells us what it is. If we had to read every single detail, it'd be a lot of work for our brain. But we know, we look out the window, there's some green stuff, that must be trees. Okay, so that's often all we need. So it's a suggestion of things. So that's really handy for that, and I'm sure we're all going to use that. So also if we have a petal, there's a crisp edge on the outside, isn't there? But inside there's softened, it's a softened edge between those two. It's softened here, it goes from this colour, this tone to a lighter tone. So that's where the softened edge is really good, and this is where the crisp edge is really good on the outside. So I'll do it one more time. You ready? Because after this, you're going to be off like shots to do this. I have a few minutes to do it. And I want you to do it 2 times each, but I want you to do it as a pair and then stop and then do it again. Not 2 of one and then. Okay, now let's put in a nice crisp line. Oh, not enough medium. I didn't dip into the medium. There we go. Crisp line. Not rocket science. Don't have to be born talented to do that. Just need to be able to take a little bit of instruction.
Just a steady hand and practice.
Okay, now I'm coming down. I probably don't have enough. So yeah, sometimes you might run out of paint by the time you get down here. So don't start halfway up the page, like too far up the page. You know, think of it as fitting 4 to a page when you do it. Okay, so I'm going to turn the brush over because I know I've got plenty of paint on that side. So this is building awareness, okay, of what's on your brush, because this is how you gain control of what you're doing, and don't make all the mistakes that other students make that don't have this basic knowledge that is not even taught in universities.
I've never heard this before. I'm fascinated because I've never had such detail in anybody trying to instruct me.
That's right. I'm obsessive. I've gone down a rabbit hole. I've devoted my life. There will be a painting Bible one day. So that's that one. And then we're going to go again quickly. And yeah, I've had students just be liberated. They went to art school years ago, didn't think that they could paint. I show them the basics, and they're off and running. They're going, oh my God. One woman had a successful chocolate business, making cakes and things. She gave it away because she realised, well, I can paint after all. What was I thinking? I want to paint. I don't want to be a chocolate maker. And now she has a great business selling paintings. She came into my Make Money From Art program and...
Did you paint chocolates?
She paints chocolate box style paintings. They're very popular. Here we go. So there you go. So I just dragged it down and I worked off the tip to get the finish. Now, come Christmas time, you could do this in 2 shades of blue. Pop a sailboat on there. Fold it over. Merry Christmas. Or a bag tag or something. Okay, your turn.